Namaskar, I am Rajendra Salokhe. Here I am presenting you the game by Bill Walsh, which ended in less than 10 moves and played in Caro Kann opening. Now it's very uh, guiding because I will be categorizing the games between say 0 and 9 moves, then 10 to 15 moves, 16 to 20 moves, like that. And I selected all the games where checkmate has occurred because many games we find are not played till checkmate. One of the players resigns and the game ends, and you don't understand what the endings would be. So this game, see, it ended in just 6 moves. This is part one, of course. E4, C6, D4, D5, Caro Kann opening, Knight C3, D cross E4, Knight cross C4, Knight to D7, Queen to E2. Now he brings the Queen here, so directly attacking the King. And later he wants to pin this pawn on E7. Now Knight to F6 is a very wrong move by Black, which leads to checkmate. Knight goes here and then Black King is checkmated. Now instead the Black should have played here E6. Now then after check the king can move or bishop can cross the knight, so knight cannot come there. Number one. Or number two, this position Black would have moved the knight to F6, this knight on D7 to F6, so that if it gives a check then king can move to D7. It's because this pawn is pinned, you cannot take the white knight, and check is there, king cannot move anywhere, and the mate takes place. Now same principle is applied in some other games where the black player is easily fooled by this. E4, C6, D4, D5, Knight C3, D cross E4, Knight cross E4, Bishop to F5. Now he takes Queen to E2. Now he again plays Knight to D7, blocking the movement of the king. Normally the people play Knight to D7 is in Caro Kann as early as you play Knight to D7. In fact, it is better because the attack is from this diagonal, either by the queen or by the bishop. But here it is a very questionable move because it leads to checkmate. This knight goes here and leads to checkmate. So instead, after fourth move, this move, he should have played knight to Fc, this knight, and give threat to this knight before the queen comes to E2. Now go to next game. It has again ended into same technique is used. Moves are a little different, but f5, e cross f5, b5, queen to h5 check, g6, f cross g6, h cross g6. So here a different technique is used in fact by the queen because the king cannot move to f7 in this case, and no other piece can obstruct this check. So see the checkmate pattern. Checkmated by the queen on the diagonal in just 6 moves. Now here also this game also Bill Wall has checkmated the opponent in 6 moves. d5, knight c3, d cross e4, knight cross e4, knight to d7, queen to e2, knight to f6 again is a bad thing. So black normally falls in the trap because he wants to move this knight and bishop also for castling, and now the same thing has happened. This knight goes to f6 and checkmate. So here instead of moving this knight to f6, he could have moved e6. That is better because then the knight cannot come to this d6 to checkmate. Or the other move was knight to d6. So the kings get a chance to escape to d7. So Caro Kann player black should be very cautious about this type of mates. Now we go to a mate where in 7 moves Bill Wall has checkmated the opponent, and Wall is playing white of course. c6, d4, d5, e5, f6, bishop d3, knight d7. So knight d7 is generally a very obvious move in Caro Kann, but it is upsetting the bishop. I made a video on the position of white square bishop in Caro Kann. So it's always confusing whether to move this bishop or not because attacks come from all these sides. So it's in fact good if you have your bishop here on c8 only. Now queen to h5 check, g6, bishop cross g6 check, h cross g6, and queen cross g6 and checkmate. Similar type of mate which occurred earlier. Here 7 moves have taken place. So you should be aware of either this mate or made by the knight. Now again this mate is also in 7 moves. e4, c6, bishop to c4, d6, d3, knight f6, queen, it takes the queen to f3, bishop g4, queen to e3, d5, bishop b3, d cross e4, d cross e4, and see mate in 1 year. Can you find out? Queen to d1 and checkmate. So now black has checkmated white because obviously you can see the Bill Wall is playing white in this game. So black has checkmated. He brings the bishop here, and then he brings the queen to d7 and checkmates the king. So this type of checkmate occurs on white. So whenever this bill ball, whether it is played white or black, he has checkmated the opponent in very small number of moves. Here again, now here a white checkmates in 7 moves. Wall is playing white, e4 c6, d4 d5, bishop d3, b5, e4 h5, g5, bishop to g5, knight to d7, queen to f3, f6. Now see here also, now checkmate in one move. So this is in fact opposite type of move, this thing mate, where king is surrounded by his own army, and which is not allowing the king to move, and a simple bishop blocking the diagonal is checkmating. So should be very cautious about this also. And normally the Caro Kann, the attack will be on the king, and normally your castle breaks, because I made a video on that also, broken castle. I have given some games of great people like Vishwanathan Anand, Judith Polgar, etc. If you can watch that video, watch also, because normally the castle gets disturbed. You should be aware of this move, checkmate. Now here again, now here it is in 8 moves, and wall is playing white, e4 c6, d4 knight f6, e5 knight to d5, c3 f5, knight f3, knight a6, knight h4, g6, knight cross f5, g cross f5, and now mate in 1, queen to h5 and checkmate. So you should form a strategy of attacking the black king either from the diagonal or through the knight as shown earlier. I'll go to next game. Here again the mate in 8 moves. Wall is playing white. Oh, this is not Caro Kann, this is some other this thing. Duns depend. I'll just skip this, sorry. Okay, here it's in 9 moves. e4 c6, knight f3 d5, e5 d4, bishop to c4, bishop e6, bishop cross e6, f cross e6, knight h4, knight d7, queen to h5. Now one lesson you should understand, I should not block the king from all the sides. g6, knight cross g6, and if h cross g6, then queen cross g6 and checkmate. Similar position has occurred. So one lesson you learn from this is you should keep place for the black, should keep place for the king to move. And view the video again and find out how black can avoid getting checkmated. Now here another game is there. e4 c6 d4 d5 knight c3, knight f6, e5, knight to d7, e6, f cross e6, bishop d3. Now see the castle has disturbed again. So it's very difficult in fact to play Caro Kann. Caro Kann is not a simple defense because I have studied so much about Caro Kann, but many times I get very badly defeated playing black. Knight f6, knight f3, knight d7, white castles, h6, and now only one move and checkmate. What is the move? Bishop goes to g6 and checkmate. That is the our pattern. So keep watching. Next I will have a video on checkmate between 10 to say 15 or 20 moves. Select such games where in Caro Kann checkmate has taken in 10 to 15 moves. Then I will have 16 to 20 moves and so on. I have collected such games. Thank you very much and please subscribe.